points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Minuk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mindell. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
So 12 goals is what it was. It was 12 goals.
12.
Okay, let me just get started here. Okay, yeah, there we go. That'll get us through it. Okay, there we go. We got some saved back in there in case I need a little bit for later, because 12 is a reasonable number of goals to go through after we did the show this morning, and then we did a show last night, and that game had 9 goals. Okay, let me just get a little bit more. I gotta just top it up a little bit. There we go. Alrighty, it's a Saturday night, folks. Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show with Dave Minuk. I'm your host, Drew Mindell, here to talk about not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. I can keep going. Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9,
I think you got the idea through.
10, not 11, but 12 goals scored in tonight's game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. The 1980s called. They wanted their game back, but this was fun, and it was a much-needed win, Dave M., for the Winnipeg Jets.
Fun is one way of describing it, Drew. I mean, the angst in Jets land was high because it would look like a mirror image of what happened last night in Edmonton with the power play goal. Leon Draisaitl, my God, is that guy good? It's funny. He tends to get overshadowed by Connor McDavid, but I mean, he is a very good hockey player in his own right. Nothing super insightful with that comment, but it's the truth. And the Jets had a good response, and I thought the Jets had a very good bounce back game. I mean, there was a lot of energy in the building. The Jets, and I know I said this on Twitter, and I was obviously in the building. They did a really good job with sack night and honoring.
That was really well done.
Honoring, all the elders, and especially that lady who was 100 years old. I didn't catch her name, but that was pretty awesome. The way you see her to watch. She was so able-bodied to come onto the ice and be part of that ceremony. And the ceremony itself was awesome. So the Jets did a really good job before the game, and the crowd was amped up. Saturday Night Hockey, Hockey Night in Canada, H-Nick as you like to call it. And there was a lot of fun.
I still maintain I'm right about that.
You're not, but it's all good. We it's fine, Drew. We can have a difference of opinion. You can call it H-Nick. We can all call it HNIC. But the point is that the crowd was amped up, and you could feel it. You could feel the energy in the building. And I didn't know. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know how it was going to go. We've done, as you said, 3. This is our 3rd show now in 2 days. Yeah. And, there was not, as a former coach Claude Noel used to say, there's not a lot of joy in Joyland. And I was, of course, having that chat with folks in the pregame show, but not a pregame show, but the pregame chat, I should say. And there was a lot of angst. But again, like I said, it really turned into that second period. I was like, down, up. Look at my computer. Look up. Yeah. It was just remarkable. 7 goals in 5 minutes between these two teams. So it was some good old Smythe Division fire wagon hockey, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good, and it was a good bounce back effort. And a lot of guys individually had good performances. I mean, Mark Scheifele did his best. Dylan DeMello on the Draisaitl goal, which was for the record just a spectacular goal.
Of course, terrible
giveaway by 55.
It's atrocious.
But again, like I said, probably the most important was Adam Lowry's performance. Mm-hmm. He needed that goal probably more than any other player. Morgan Barron had a big game, and of course 44 Josh Morrissey was simply phenomenal again. Although Colby Spence, our photographer, took a big picture of when he scored that goal with 1.2 seconds left. Mark Scheifele almost broke him, and you could see like Morrissey's skate is like this, and I'm like, doesn't look great, but
they celebrated like Dave Ellett scoring in double overtime.
Yeah. But hey,
guys, it's the end of the second period. It's a regular season game. I appreciate the enthusiasm involved.
It's a big win for this Jets team that now puts themselves back into the 3rd spot. Colorado. It's funny how we were talking about Colorado like they were giant killers and they were never going to lose a game again. Sorry, now they've lost 2 games and they lost handily to Dallas, and I don't know who they lost to previously, but they do have 2 losses in a row, and I think it was by a substantial margin. So Colorado now reeling with 2 losses, and the Jets finding themselves back into third spot in the Central.
Well, and of course, I mean, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the schedule on Monday is, you have an easier game on paper, what should be an easier game against the San Jose Sharks. So the Jets can't be looking past the Sharks to Wednesday against the Wild. They need to maybe, build a little bit of momentum, as much momentum as you can get from a potential 2-game winning streak, but you certainly can't backslide on Monday. And again, we're getting ahead of ourselves with that comment.
Drew, by the way, speaking of Monday, though, quickly, does that count as a revenge game?
For Nemesnikov?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge revenge game. And just like next Sunday's game against Tampa Bay is a huge revenge game for Asimont. So
well, the funny thing about Nemesnikov, I don't know if people
he
heard.
Played well, by the way. I thought he did. A very good game.
He did. He fit in really well, and his pregame presser was great. I don't know if anybody caught it because he did it about 4:30, right after Rick Bowness spoke this afternoon before the game. And it's just quickly, it was interesting. I thought that he said the Sharks basically told him not to leave Tampa. Like, don't even bother coming here. Don't come to San Jose. Yeah. We're going basically going to look to trade you. So he was traded 4 or 5 days ago by the Sharks and the Bolts, and they essentially said stay in Tampa, and we're gonna be flipping you for someone else. So
Jonathan Quick going to Columbus. Don't actually
go to
Columbus.
Exactly.
Quickly move you along on your way.
But yeah, no, he was good, and he had a real critical block. I thought he had a really nice block in the third period. That's the kind of thing that gets your teammates to really, man align and had a nice block. Like, the guy stepped up. I mean, that's, you needed a performance. Look, you knew it was going to be a chaotic game. Two teams playing, 24 hours after they played last night. You knew the game wasn't going to be a clean game. You knew it was going to be a bit sloppy. You knew there was probably going to be, it was probably going to be a little bit higher scoring, but you liked a lot of the effort. I mean, there were some things that obviously there's some mistakes. We'll highlight them, but I mean, a lot of those elements that you wanted to see from this team in a game that was pretty much must win. I mean, again, not from they're not going to make the playoffs position, but this was as close to a must win game as the Jets have played this season.
Well, I mean, look, the struggles have been well documented. We don't need to, say it again. We all know what it's been like since, 2023 started, the middle of 2023, the last month, one of the worst teams in the league. This is a kind of game, you're right. Second half of back-to-back, you need it more than the opponent does. I mean, they do need it more than the Oilers did. I mean, I know that they're close enough in the standings, but the Oilers are playing some good hockey as of late. It's the second half of a back-to-back. Look, Jack Campbell looked awful. I mean, we're going to go through the goals, and then we're not going to take anything away from the Jets for their victory. But Jack Campbell looked absolutely horrendous in that. You can see the difference between Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner last night. I mean, Stuart Skinner made all the saves that he needed to make, and never mind the ones that came after it was 5-0. We can forget about those. They don't really count. But, Jack Campbell let in, multiple soft goals tonight. And the Jets took advantage of that. Now, they barely took advantage of it, but they took advantage of it. And they get the victory, and they get the victory in regulation. And when it's 6-5, under 3 minutes into the third period, the Jets hold on. And that's what I tweeted before the third period I started. I said, look, if there's ever been a period that the Jets needed to prove that they can hold on to a lead, it's this one. And I mean, they weren't great in the third period, and Edmonton had their chances, and Connor Hellebuyck had to come up big, but your goalie's better than the opposition goalie. Prove it. Well, Hellebuyck did. He was good in that third period. He made a number of key saves in that third period, and the Jets did hold on. Now, if the game was an extra 5 minutes, would they have held on? Well, I don't know, but that doesn't matter. They get full marks for holding on. They get full marks for a 7-5 regulation time victory. I mean, it's sort of amazing that in these last two games, the Edmonton Oilers have scored 11 goals, and Connor McDavid has scored 0 of them. I mean, that's hard to believe that the Jets managed to keep McDavid off of the goal scoring part of the score sheet. He was impactful, and he was certainly noticeable, and he was terrific because he's a thrill to watch. And there's a reason why the arena was sold out tonight, and it's because, well, if you're going to only go to one game a year, you're going to pick the game that you get to see the world's best player, and that's Connor McDavid. But the Jets did manage, despite Edmonton scoring 11 goals in the last 6 periods of hockey, which, by the way, isn't great for the Jets, from the Jets' perspective. The fact that they kept Connor McDavid completely off of the goal scoring sheet is sort of impressive in its own right, Dave M.
Well, for sure, and remember, I mean, Connor McDavid came in with that
Yeah,
that opportunity.
2 goals a game.
Yeah, which they obviously stopped in Edmonton last night. But yeah, I mean, look, he's obviously feeling it, right? He had 10 goals in his previous the previous 5 games, and now the Jets hold him to 0. So I thought I actually liked the way Pionk played against McDavid. I was a little surprised Pionk was out, to start, to hold the lead in the third period. I mean, but again, you got to credit Rick Bowness for trusting in his guys who can play defense, right? I mean, he went with the guys who are defensive specialists to hold that lead, and that's, I'm not saying Pionk is in that necessarily in that category, but and we should mention, of course, the way the lineup was constructed today. I mean, he pulled Nate Schmidt and Logan Stanley, both healthy scratches from the lineup, which is funny because we had this whole conversation about whether you could pull a veteran out and scratch them, and he did that in favor of Kyle Capo.
And I don't think either of us thought it was going to be Nate Schmidt. I mean, Logan Stanley getting pulled out of the lineup doesn't move the needle at all. No one was surprised by that at that point in time. Nobody was quite understood why he was in the lineup to begin with.
Yeah.
But to pull Schmidt, that sort of raised my eyebrows because I wasn't sure why it was Schmidt. I'm not sure I necessarily still agree with it. I mean, you agree with the result, but I guess Nate Schmidt, universally beloved in the dressing room. Maybe that's not so much about Nate Schmidt's play, but it's the way you get the attention of everyone else by sitting Nate Schmidt.
Yeah, and worth mentioning, of course, Pierre-Luc Dubois also not available for tonight's game, so he misses his second straight game after leaving practice earlier in the week with what was termed a nagging injury. One thing we did notice, or I noticed, I should say, is assistant coach Brad Lauer. He was back on the bench. So he's been, I don't know if he was on the bench last night. I didn't notice him, and I didn't hear it on the broadcast. Anybody mention that, but Brad Lauer is back on the bench. He was dealing with back issues. He was on coaching IR. So I don't know if that means Eric Dubois is back with the Moose. I guess I'll find out tomorrow at the Moose game. So will Phyllis. She's going to the game. She asked me for the 2 tickets. So Phyllis will be there, as well somebody else too. I can't remember who asked me for the other tickets. I could look it up. But anywho, point is that Brad Lauer, good for him. Good to hear that he's feeling better and he's back on the bench for the Jets. Mm-hmm. And of course, what else was there? What were the other forward moves? Nemestikov back in, and it was funny because Rick Bowness wouldn't say what the player decision was going to be.
Right.
And I'm like, well, the only move really is to pull Kuhlman because you're going to want Stenlund to be center. So he, of course, he didn't say it, but he ended up going, of course, with pulling Kuhlman out and putting Stenlund and Nemestikov back in.
We talk about Nemestikov and, look, when they acquired him, I was like, okay, it makes sense. It's a fine acquisition. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to Vlad Nemestikov's game over the years because he's sort of one of those guys who's on teams. He never really stands out. He's never really the shining star on any team.
By the way, his English is phenomenal.
Well, that's good.
He's been in North America for a while, but I mean, he sounded perfect.
He's more articulate than Ginsburg.
Well, not a high bar there, Drew.
I know it's sort of damning with faint praise a little bit, but nonetheless, I liked his game because, as we talked about when they acquired him, he's a professional NHL player. He's not a fringe guy. He's not a guy that's
600 games in the NHL.
He's a professional NHL player who knows how to play his role on any team. And certainly Rick Bowness is familiar with him, and that's why the Jets probably went out and got him. They paid a very reasonable price for him, and I'm sure that the entire team and the entire coaching staff were happy with him. We've talked about on this show sort of coach brain, how some players who might freelance a little bit more than other players can raise the ire of the coach because their game isn't predictable. That's not Vlad Nemestikov. His game is pretty predictable, and that's probably one of the reasons why the Jets went out and got him and why Rick Bowness likes him so much. He was perfectly fine. He was very, very reasonable in his performance tonight in his first game as a member of the Winnipeg Jets, and of course getting an assist on the DeMello empty netter. So he gets his first point as a member of the Winnipeg
Lowry.
Jets.
The Meskov got it on Lowry's goal.
They took it away from him. It's Barron from Dillon now, unless the score sheet hasn't been updated that I'm looking at. Yeah, they took it away from him for that goal.
Oh, that's weird. It was originally said, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was that one. That's why I did a double look when I was looking at my second screen here. But no, he got the primary assist on the DeMello goal, and I thought he had one on the Lowry goal, but it was removed and given to Brendan Dillon instead.
What can you do?
What can you do? I'll tell you what we can do is we can head into the Betway game recap.
Drew, we got 100 goals to get through. Let's go.
Because it's 15 minutes into the program, and the Betway game recap might take us a solid 2.5 hours as I bang my microphone yet again. The Betway game recap is brought to you naturally by our friends at Betway, one of the most trusted voices in sports betting, both in Canada and all around the world. Betway is the sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront with a large selection of betting options in sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds. What are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Say it along with me, folks. Please play responsibly. Please drink responsibly. L'chaim. Whatever you're drinking on this Saturday night, if you're having a beverage, if you're joining in with me, please do so responsibly. Before Roscoe gets here, and we know that responsibility and Roscoe certainly don't go hand in hand. Draisaitl opens the scoring. Carbon copy to last night. Jets take an early penalty. Wheeler in the box for hooking. It was Connor in the box last night. Early penalty. This one, it's Wheeler for hooking. Doesn't take the Oilers long to capitalize. How about 13 seconds? 13 seconds after the penalty's called, the Oilers get the goal. Draisaitl, his 39th of the season. Assist to Zach Hyman and Evan Bouchard. 1-0 Edmonton. And if you're like me, Dave, you're like, uh-oh, I've seen this game before and I saw it last night and I still have the memories burnt into my retinas. This is what happens when you front a guy on the power play. And all the teams, all the defensemen are told now to front guys. They don't play behind guys anymore. They try and block the shot. When the shot gets through and there's a rebound, you're going to be outnumbered. And the Jets were outnumbered, and Leon Draisaitl had the easiest probably of his 39 goals so far this season. Yeah,
no, that's true, Drew. And again, it was we've talked about it. One of the things the Jets needed to do, Rick Bowness talked about it specifically, was stay disciplined and not take, needless penalties. And for the most part, I thought the refs were okay. They missed some things. There was one instance where I want to say in the second period, Josh Morrissey basically got mugged by about 2 or 3 Oilers, and it allowed Connor McDavid to go in on a 2-on-1, and Connor Hellebuck made a big stop. But, and then there was the Morgan Barron penalty, which led to, it was just a pretty soft call. I mean, he's in front. They called it interference in front of the Oilers net. I didn't think that was a great call. But anyways, the point is that the Jets needed to stay disciplined. They didn't. And you're right, Drew, that did have the feeling of here you go again. And this is, like you said, we've seen this show before. In fact, we watched it last night. So it's a bit of a Groundhog Day situation. And, the funny part is, I guess there's a lot of Oilers fans in the building. So again, Absolutely. it creates it's also because the Wasac colors are the same as the Oilers colors. So it's sometimes a little difficult to know if people are celebrating Wasac or if they're Oilers fans. But regardless, we obviously know there were a few Oilers fans, because later in the broadcast, we'll talk about
some hats
all the hats being tossed on the ice. But yeah, look, it's a tough goal. It's a tough situation for Winnipeg, because you take the penalty and now you've given up a goal 13 seconds into that power play, and you're already at kind of again, it's all about response, right? It's always about how does a team respond after giving up a goal. And, like the good news for Winnipeg was it was okay. It's a 5-on-4 against the best power play in the NHL, but tough way to start the game for Winnipeg.
Yeah, it's not how you want to start the game at all. To the Jets' credit, they bounced back about 10 minutes later. Mark Scheifele gets his 36th of the season. It's a nice tip on a Dylan DeMello point shot. Nito Niederreiter with the secondary assist. And you like the communication on the ice here. Mm-hmm. Niederreiter's got the puck. He's in some soft ice where he's got some room and he can survey the situation. You see DeMello banging his stick on the ice, calling for the pass, and Niederreiter tees him up. And then DeMello with the good shot, and Scheifele, with the high slot tip that evaded Jack Campbell to tie the game up at 1 at the 11:34 mark of the first period. You like this. This is what you want. You want guys going to the net. You want point shots getting through. This is how goals are scored in the NHL by and large nowadays. By throwing pucks towards the net, getting traffic, and then getting a stick on the puck for the deflection.
Well, I would, before we even get into this goal, though, Drew, I think the key was that the Jets were playing the right way for following the giving up the opening goal to the Oilers. I thought that they didn't sag, and they continued to play within the structure of the system. And I thought it was a good period for the most part. And McDavid is always going to get his chances. So will Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman. I mean, they've got oodles of talent on that. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. They've got a lot of talent on that Oilers roster. So they get their shots. But I like the way the Jets played for the most part between being down and the building erupted. And you're right. That to me was what was my kind of key from that goal. A couple of things. One, shocking, having someone in front of the net. Great.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I agree. The communication between DeMello and Niederreiter was important because Niederreiter makes a nice play on the wall, gets it over to DeMello, who's got some open space. And I actually thought DeMello scored until I saw the replay. Of course, from our perspective in the press box, a little hard to see that Scheifele actually got his stick on that, but you could see that he was leading the flyby in line. So you knew that he was the one who had the goal. But regardless, it was a good play by that unit. And so of course it's a 1-1 and the building's bumping.
Yeah, exactly. The building's bumping. Like you said, there was a good vibe in the building. I mean, I was out on the river trail this afternoon, and there were a ton of Oilers jerseys, and you could see, a good day in Winnipeg. You could feel that it was a good day in Winnipeg. The weather was nice. The sun was shining. You could just feel people were excited for this game, and so they were treated to a very good hockey game as a result as well. This is a fun game. When games like this, it gives coaches heartburn. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Coaches don't like these games.
Yeah, no question.
These are fun games. They're fun games for the fans, and they're fun games for the players. Players much prefer to play in games like this than they do in system oriented, stifling, automatron, robotic hockey kind of games that we see so often in the NHL. So this was fun for everybody involved. Maybe not the head coaches, but that's why they get paid big bucks. They can deal with it. Josh Morrissey makes it 2-1 for the Jets. This coming a few minutes later, 15:09 mark of the second period in a game with a number of bad goals given up by Jack Campbell. This was probably the worst one of them all. I mean, there's just no reason this one goes in. Neil Pionk makes a nice play to keep the puck in, and then he feeds it across to Morrissey, and Morrissey makes a nice play to keep it in. There's no intention here. This is just throw the puck through and hope it gets through, and it somehow manages to not get knocked down by the traffic in front, and Campbell just doesn't look like he ever sees it. I mean, that's the only conclusion I can come up with here, Dave, is that Jack Campbell didn't see the puck until it was past him, trying to fight through some of the bodies that were in front of him. Good on Morrissey to get it through the traffic. Good on Pionk to get it over to Morrissey. Bad on Campbell for not picking it up, but Jets don't apologize for that. 2-1 Winnipeg.
Well, and I think more importantly, the key was, Drew, that they fired a puck on net.
Sure.
Because too often we've seen them try and make a pass to set something up to get a better shot when you've got all that sort of chaos in front of the goaltender. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it was funny because watching it live, you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, Morrissey makes a great play to keep it in because he kind of dances along the blue line, which is what Josh Morrissey does. And so he makes that great play. And then all of a sudden you're just watching him fire it on that. And you're right. It seems inconsequential, but as Stu says, it's like it's a seeing eye shot. And when the goaltender has traffic in front of him, what have we been talking about on this program for so long with the Jets team not doing enough of was getting someone to take away the eyes. I mean, think about that Islanders game. So Ilya Sorokin he's a phenomenal goaltender, but he was seeing all the shots.
Goalies at this level, if they can see the puck, are usually going to make the save. There's exceptions. There's exceptions where a guy like Leon Draisaitl can pick the tiniest corner imaginable, like he did on David Riddick last night, or Josh Morrissey can walk right in to the top of the circles or even closer to that and blast the slap shot past Phoenix Copley like he did on Tuesday night. So there's exceptions. There's times when a great shot will beat a goalie that can see it, but more often than not, if the goalie can see it, they're going to save it.
So that's why, like I said, to me, that's the key of that play is twofold. One, you have a guy, Josh Morrissey, who doesn't have a lot of time. So he's like, okay, I'm just going to quickly fire this on net. So that's good because best case scenario, he scores a goal, which he did. Yeah. Very rare, obviously. But more likely, what he's hoping for is some sort of rebound, something greasy, and that's what the Jets need. So, I mean, he, got the first objective and not the secondary one. But the reality for the Jets is you're now 2-1. the building is going absolutely bonkers.
Mhm.
Absolutely bonkers. And I just want to answer Adam's question. He says, "Hey Dave, tell us about the press box. It looks like the huge beams would be blocking the view. Are there blind spots?" No, just so you know, like the press box actually
It's
is
the best seats in the building.
yeah, it really is amazing to watch a hockey game from there because you are right over top of the game. Although the one thing I'll say is it does make you realize.
Well, what we
Great.
should clarify for Adam is that there's 2 levels to the press box.
Yeah, there's a double.
So
yeah,
the
that's right.
broadcasters, who ostensibly should have the best view, are actually obstructed by the beams. So if you're broadcasting the game, if you're the play-by-play guys on TV or radio, home or away, you are blocked by the beams. For us yokels who are in what's called the lower gondola of the press box, there is no obstructions at all. That's where the print guys are. That's where the radio guys are. That's where whatever the hell we are. So there is no obstruction, and you're almost just on top of the ice surface. It's regarded by, I don't know about the broadcasters so much, but it's regarded by everybody else that's in that lower gondola as one of the best press boxes in the league because of how close you are to the action, especially when you compare it to some of the other buildings, where you might be up in the moon, it feels like, watching the game, and the players might be ants. They're so small and so far away.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we do have a great view. It does make the game seem very slow sometimes.
Mhm.
You'll watch it's funny because for Moose games, every once in a blue moon, I'll come down and I'll watch like a little bit of the game. I haven't done it this year, but I would watch a little bit of the game. If I saw someone, I would go down and watch a bit of a period. And it's amazing how much quicker the game is. The game is so much slower when you're watching from above than it is when you actually get down close to the ice, and you can really appreciate the speed of the game versus when we're watching. But the benefit of, and that's the reason why I go to so many games and why it's so important to go to games, because you really see so much that you would miss otherwise. And you really do. Like the broadcast, of course, when you're watching a broadcast, all you're watching is what the camera is following, which is 90% of the time the puck. Sometimes they're missing it a little bit. But the point is that, you have an opportunity to watch things that are interesting to you or you want to follow. So that kind of the benefit of doing that. Sorry for that segue, Drew. Just wanted to give it, answer that question.
That's okay. Segues are what we do here on the show. Usually they're about ice cream and or bridges.
Yeah, I know. I kept that one topical.
Yeah, it was topical. That's rare.
You're welcome, Adam.
Yeah, we'll see if we can keep that going. It's my guess is unlikely. 2-1 Jets after 20 minutes. So a good start. Bad start to the game. Good end to the period for the Winnipeg Jets. You like most of their first period, outshooting the Oilers 13-10 in that opening period. Second period, the Jets are on a power play. Well, huzzah! That power play should usually result in good things. Not so much on this one. Kyle Connor, if I'm not mistaken, with an ill-advised pass. He's trying to hit a seam pass. It doesn't work. It ends up deflecting out of the zone, or it deflects sort of into no man's land, and Josh Morrissey's caught. You can see at first he wants to be aggressive and try and
you can see the indecision.
Yeah,
you could see the indecision in his brain.
Exactly. You see the indecision. He chooses to play it defensively. I'm not going to say one way or the other what he should have done. I thought maybe more aggressive in that instance.
Let's put it this way: 44 can do whatever he wants.
That's right. Exactly. I think far be it from me to criticize him given the season that he's had and given the game that he's had here. Anyways, it ends up in a 2-on-1 with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Matthias Janmark. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is going to want to play against the Jets 82 games a year. He's been absolutely a Jets killer over the last couple of nights. He sets up Janmark with an absolutely beautiful saucer pass. Janmark makes no mistake. It's in and out of the net before you can blink an eye, and it's 2-2 just when you think the Jets might be able to capitalize on the power play. Instead, it's a shorthanded goal, which gives the Oilers their second lead of the game. Or pardon me, ties the game up at 2 at this point in time. It's the next goal that gives them their second lead of the game.
Yeah, Drew,
getting ahead of myself.
I can understand the confusion because there were so many lead changes and flipping and flopping throughout the course of this second period.
And most people would recommend that when you have to really pay attention and really focus to get details right, drinking is a good thing to be doing. That's usually how it works. You got to really nail it down that way.
Take a drink. Anywho. The point is that, you're right. That was the notable part for me, was that Josh Morrissey kind of being left in no man's land, trying to decide if he should be aggressive. And it was funny because I was still trying to tweet out that the Jets were about to draw a power play, and it was nice. It was nice. It was an aggressive play at the net. So you thought, okay, the Jets came out and they were really, I thought they started off the period really well, right? They were
drew a penalty.
They drew the penalty, but the Lowry line hemmed them in, the Oilers in their zone for a solid 45 seconds. You like to see that. Manalainen came on, and he, like I said, he was good. So you've got the Jets playing well. They've come out because it's always curious, right? You're up 2-1. There's a lot of expectation on the home team, and they know how important this game is. The Edmonton is feeling good about themselves, right? Like they smoked the Leafs, they smoked the Jets. They played the Bruins in a tight game. So Edmonton's feeling very good about themselves. And so, and they've got McDavid and Draisaitl, and that's the great equalizer in any sort of hockey game. So you like the way Winnipeg started that period, and unfortunately for them, it ends up in the back of their net. But like I said, that when you have guys when you have that sort of level of talent on this team, it's going to happen every once in a while. And again, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, we talked about it with Derek Van Dietz today on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. I mean, he is having his best season as a pro. I mean, he's been phenomenal. So you got to give them credit, because how many times have we seen the Jets, guys, when they play their Jets offensive guys, I should say, on shorthanded opportunity, snag a puck and go the other way. And I think Derek tweeted out that the Oilers have 12 shorthanded goals, which is the most in the NHL. No surprise.
They have more shorthanded goals and the best power play. How much more do you want from that team? In any event, that tied it up at 2. And then within about the next 3.5 minutes, a little less than that, 3 minutes and 15 seconds is all it takes for the Oilers to regain the lead. It's a great pass by Mark Scheifele. Unfortunately, it's right on the stick of Leon Draisaitl. I mean, it's sort of funny that you can laugh about it now because the Jets won, but you look at the first 3 goals that the Oilers scored. Wheeler in the box for hooking, Connor with the ill-advised seam pass, Morrissey with a little bit of indecision, and then Scheifele with a tape-to-tape pass to the stick of Leon Draisaitl. 4 of the guys that you expect to really execute at their highest levels are almost directly responsible, not blaming necessarily, there's a difference, but directly responsible for the Oilers' first 3 goals. And I mean, this one was just it was just mind-boggling. This is just like, who is this to? What is your thought process here? How can you be so careless with the puck after everything your team has gone through? And then to put it onto the stick of Leon Draisaitl, of all people, it's his 40th of the season here, and it gave the Oilers the 3-2 lead.
NHL.com currently has that goal as unassisted, but I'm pretty sure they should put Mark Scheifele's name beside, give him another assist, because that was a beauty. Yeah. And look, using the word beauty is appropriate because he takes the puck, goes around Josh Morrissey, his former teammate, I believe in Prince Albert, and going back to their WHL days, and just roofs it. I mean, just a gorgeous goal. And you've got it. Sometimes you got to take your hat off and give credit when credit is due. And it's a terrible giveaway, but it's a spectacular goal. And it really was. Yeah, no, the giveaway is definitely gross. There's no question about that, Beer League. But you have to look at the beauty of that goal. And that's a memorable 40th goal for Leon Draisaitl. And, it is remarkable. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but, back-to-back games now at home where the Jets have given up, a hat trick at least to an opposing player. So not ideal, but I mean, that's, again, you want to see how the team responds, right? So you've gone from a 2-1 lead. So now suddenly it's 3-2. And you're wondering what is going to be the reaction. To me, that's the biggest question. Like, how will this team react in the next minute?
And we're going to get to the reaction momentarily, but first we're going to award the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment. That goes to LB. Again, Ezzy's not here, so I get to make up the rules as I go.
Sure.
LB with the hardest hitting comment in tonight's post-game show. Happy that the Jets won, but they honestly had so many turnovers today, and most of them happened when they weren't even under great pressure. This is a major issue that great teams can't do. I would agree with most of that astute comment from LB. So LB, please send me an email, drew@legalcurve.com, or you can slide into my DMs at ICDrew, and we'll hook you up with a toque, courtesy of our friends at Tough Duck. So congratulations to you on the hardest hitting comment so far during tonight's post-game show. We're only at goal number 5, so we still have 7 to go. The show's 35 minutes old, so say hi, say goodnight to your wife and kids and everybody else. It's going to take us a while tonight, but LB, congratulations on winning the hardest hitting comment. You talk about the response, Dave. You wanted to see how the Jets were going to respond. They trailed 1-0. They responded. They trail 3-2 now. How do they respond? Well, they respond in 42 seconds. Adam Lowry scores. Stop the show. Stop the presses. Adam Lowry scored. It's his 8th of the year, his first since I had hair, if I'm not mistaken. It comes assist to Morgan Barron and Brendan Dillon, and it ties the game up at 3. And this is a massive goal for Lowry himself and a massive goal for the Winnipeg Jets, as, again, there wasn't a sag. There wasn't a hang your head in sorrow after they gave up the lead. They responded, and they tied it up very quickly.
Well, and that to me is an absolute sign that this team is in the game still, right? Like the fact that you pushed hard and you just, like you said, Drew, very shortly thereafter. And it's appropriate because I tweeted earlier in the game. I got to go and find it because you're right. There were a lot of tweets from that game, but it was funny because we had the, just as in the second period, I said the Lowry line with a solid shift in the second, early in the second period, feels like 17 is close to finally breaking his goalless streak. And so then, they scored. And so I said, okay, well, one, Bailey, the intern, is going to be very happy because she's a big Adam Lowry fan. So I'm sure Bailey, the intern, is very happy, but you could just see the relief on 17 when he scored that goal to get into the, to break it, to tie the game and give the Jets life, give the building life. And to me, you needed to, this was a game that was going to be requiring everybody to make an effort. It wasn't going to be won by one guy. You needed a collective team effort. You needed every single guy to get a piece of that win. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you had. That to me is, whether you have on the score sheet or whether you just did things that were important in the game. Joe from Winnipeg put up that, the stat about Stenlin's face-off prowess and David Gustafson. And David Gustafson, by the way, two good games back for him since he's returned for injury January 10th.
Looks like he's had some jump in his step and everything else. I mean, you just want to see him have some consistent help.
Well, hey, we know he's going to score against San Jose because that's the team he's got his goal against. So he'll most likely score against. Maybe he can undress his countryman Erik Karlsson again and have that memorable moment.
Hopefully Hellebuyck won't need to put up 61 saves or whatever it was in that same game, right? It was the same game, I think.
Yeah, no, that was. I think so. I think that was not. Anyways, point is that you needed the guys, you needed everyone to contribute, and so you got that from Adam Lowry, and that's one of the things we've talked about. And you do wonder if Nemestikov and Lowry and Barron are finally going to be that third line that the Jets have been lacking, right? That third line that can, it's one game. We're not going to start anointing them anything other than
you seem like you're about to do some anointing. I got to be honest.
A little anointing. It might be anointing. Anywho, although let me tell you, all these names, I'm sitting there going, oh, Nemestikov. I'm like, okay, copy paste. Anywho, the point is, it's really important for Adam Lowry, obviously, to be contributing. He contributes in other ways, but that's a big monkey off his back to get that goal, to get the team back into the game, get the crowd back in, because it very easily could have gone south. And instead, everybody's pumped up because they've now tied the game.
Contributed a fight as well, which we'll touch on a little bit later, because that fight actually turned out to be a very important.
That fight gave him the third star of the game from whoever the media member who picked the 3 stars tonight were.
I can't imagine who that would have been based on that preamble by you there. So the Jets tie it up, and then it only takes them 20 seconds to take the lead. 22 seconds to be exact. I wanted my math to be completely accurate.
Be accurate here, Drew.
Yes, I know. Accuracy is very important. Kyle Capobianco.
Of course. Big bad Leroy Brown.
Hey, it's a good song. I can't fault him for it. It's a really good song. It's his second of the year. Assist to Blake Wheeler. And this, again, another one that Jack Campbell can't let in. He does let it in clearly. And now Cody Cece's stick may have had something to do with it. Cece had his stick sort of out trying to block the shot. And as Don Cherry used to always articulate so eloquently, by which I mean not at all eloquently, about the impact of putting out your stick and how it impacts the goalie being able to see the puck. Kyle Capobianco takes advantage of it. He beats Jack Campbell with the goal. Jack Campbell in the first year of a 5-year, $25 million contract. So yikes for the Oilers on that one. But it gives the Jets the lead at 4-3. And good for Capobianco. He's played so sparingly this year, but I haven't disliked his games when he's been in the lineup. And so I don't know if it's a matter of the more you watch him, the more he plays, the less you like it. But in the very brief glimpses that we've seen of him, and I'm sure it hasn't been an easy year for him to be the seventh defenseman and, very rarely and very sparingly called upon. I've enjoyed his game. And I thought tonight was another one of those games where, this isn't an easy team to play against.
Nope.
You're going to, at some point in time, I don't know how many shifts he played against McDavid and more and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins. I mean, I can look it up maybe during the break, but he certainly didn't look out of place. And I thought that was very impressive for him, given and to get a goal on top of that. This is really the cherry on the ice cream for certain.
Well, you have to give him a lot of credit because it's not easy to be that seventh defenseman and to sit around and practice and practice and practice and practice and not play games. Right. So yeah, you're right. To be able to stay conditioned and to be able to stay, feel like you're still part of the team and feel that you can make a contribution, it's huge. And so it's a big goal for Kyle Capobianco, which I'm sure Harnarayan Singh had a lot of fun saying during the broadcast. But it was just it's an important goal for the Jets because the building freaking exploded. I mean, it was wild because, again, you got to remember, especially when you're in the press box, you're looking down sometimes. You're not really, it's hard, especially after a goal. You're trying to focus, you're reading something, you look up, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, there's another goal when they happen that quickly, bang, bang, as Dennis used to say. So suddenly there's joy back in Joyland, and the Fire Wagon hockey of the Smythe division is alive and well.
It certainly was, and it didn't take long for the Oilers to tie it up again. The second period was something to write home about. Less than 2 minutes later, a minute 58 after the Jets. I mean, the Jets can't help but shoot themselves in the foot, and they take a too many men on the ice penalty. And if there's one team in the league you don't want to take a too many men on the ice penalty against, it's this Edmonton Oilers team. I mean, it's amazing. Look at the Oilers' goals during today's game. Power play to start, shorthanded, even strength on a giveaway by the terrible giveaway by Scheifele, and then another power play goal. So, I mean, the Jets are, by and large, playing well and controlling a lot of the game, especially at 5-on-5. It's just these mistakes that end up in the back of their net, and they end up in the back of their net so very quickly. 7 seconds. The first power play, that was really inefficient for Edmonton. That took them 13 seconds. This is how they like to do it. This one only took them 7 seconds. Draisaitl, the hat trick, his 41st of the year. Assist to Connor McDavid. Oh, he's got 70 assists. It's March the 4th, people. And Evan Bouchard gets his 20th assist on the season. It's just bang, bang, bang. It's down low to McDavid. It's a one-timer pass to Draisaitl, and Draisaitl is just able to get away from Dylan DeMello, who can't tie up the stick, and Draisaitl with the redirection past Connor Hellebuyck, and it's no doubt about it. And it's 4-all at this point in the second period still.
And you're just sitting there going, are you serious? I'm looking down. I got Colby, our photographer, sending me pictures. His phone is being overloaded. And yeah, Drew, I mean, it's a wild hockey game. And again, it's one of those things that you're sitting there going, what am I watching? Where did you're right. This is, and all I could think about, and it's funny, you mentioned this earlier. All I could think about was this is a game the fans love, the media enjoy.
Yeah.
The players love it. The coaching staff absolutely losing their minds.
It's never going to happen. And sorry, I'm going to digress a little bit here.
Sure,
it's never going to happen, but this is entertaining hockey. This is how hockey should be played. Now, it's never played this way, or it's played this way so sparingly because so many of the teams in the league can't play this way because they suck. And and that's just
they're the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever did suck.
Well, teams, there's so many teams with so many players, and there's such a discrepancy between the teams that can sort of play fire wagon hockey and have the skill on their roster to do so, and then the rest of the teams that just don't have those players, and so as a result, they have to muck up the game and they have to play a trap or something like that really tries to make up for the fact that they have less skill than their opposition most nights.
Right.
So on a game like tonight, where you get to see it, I mean, it just doesn't happen enough, and that's part of the reason why I think the NHL struggles. I mean, look, it was a sold out arena tonight, and why was it a sold out arena? Because fans knew that no matter what the game was going to look like, you're going to see talent. You're going to see unbelievable talent on the ice. And so, yeah, if I can only afford to go to one game, or if I'm picking my season tickets and I have first pick, this is probably a lot of people's first pick. It's McDavid. It's a Saturday night. It's the greatest player. You want to see the great players. Comparing this game versus what's going to happen on Monday against the San Jose Sharks. And yeah, they have Erik Karlsson. So maybe Erik Karlsson will do something neat. Or
he does have 80 points.
I know. He's one of those exceptional players. But by and large, otherwise, it's just going to be stifling to have to watch, go from this to going to an average Jets team against a not very good San Jose Barracudas team on Monday night. So that's a bit of an aside. That's a bit of a tangent, but that's why this kind of game is so fun. So the Jets, Draisaitl ties it up. It's 4-4 if my math is correct at this point in time. But we're not nearly close to done in the second period.
No, we are not.
But you might as well, let me just take a break. Let me take a breath and remind people what you need to be doing as we keep going here on the Illegal Curve post-game show is you need to be smashing the like button. You need to be subscribing to the YouTube channel. You need to be sending me your social insurance number so I can steal your identity. You need
not that last thing.
I'm sorry. Hang on. I said the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet again. My mistake. You need to be doing all the things we ask of you in order so that we can keep bringing you the quality content that we bring you on a regular basis here on the Illegal Curve post-game show and the Illegal Curve hockey show on Saturday morning. So remember, do that. Smash the like button. So hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends. Tell your family the best place to be after each and every Winnipeg Jets game, and again on a Saturday morning, is the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. 4-4 at this point in time. We're not yet.
Sorry, hold on. We might have to give another tough duck too, because this is a great comment by Bailey, the intern. Put it on the thing. I'm going to graduate high school before this show is done. Well done, Bailey. I get a lot of chuckles out of the chat, but that's a chuckle and a highlighter.
You might. You really might at this point in time, Bailey. We're almost an hour into the post-game show, and we haven't even got to the third period yet. Still in the second. It's 4-4. But Morgan Barron, again, it doesn't take the Jets long to respond. You like to see the punch back. They got punched in the jaw a fair number of times, and I'm not talking about Adam Lowry and Darnell Nurse, but they punched back. So the punch and then the counter punch. Morgan Barron, a guy who's been all around the net but hasn't been able to score for a long time, is able to get one. His 6th assist to Josh Morrissey. Morrissey's up to 51 assists on the season. What a fantastic year for him. I'm telling people as if they don't already know that. But a lot of intelligence shown by Morgan Barron here, sort of making sure that it's a legal line change. He almost had to wait an extra beat before he's able to pick up the puck and then come in all alone on Jack Campbell. I think it was maybe Kyle Connor was the one who was exiting the ice and Barron was the one who was coming on. I could be wrong about the Connor part there, but whatever it was a good line change for the Jets. Probably not a great line change for the Oilers, or they maybe just got lost a little bit in the shuffle there, as can happen in that chaotic second period with the long change. But Barron picks it up, he cuts in, and he goes, I think, 5-hole on Jack Campbell, assist to Morrissey, and the Jets have now retaken the lead again, 5-4. Punch, counter punch, punch, counter punch, punch, counter punch, punch.
Well, and again, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to finish off. I didn't mean to finish off your little ditty there, but the point is that
Dave, I've gone delirious.
That's all good. That's all good. We've been doing like 800 shows in a row, Drew, in the last like 4 minutes, so we're all good. But a little bit of deliriousness is fine. So I think I think
delirium is the word you were looking for there.
What did I say?
Deliriousness.
Whatever. We make up words here on the show all the time. What do I care? Delirium. Sorry, Drew. I didn't know you went to medical school. Anyways.
I'm not a doctor, but I'll take a look.
Yeah, exactly. I once bought that shirt for a buddy of mine who's a chiropractor.
Yeah. Well, he's not a doctor either, let me tell you.
Well, ouch. Well, he wore it for the record. He considered himself to be a doctor, I think, but he did wear that shirt with pride. So anyways, that's another side here, but look, it's huge. I mean, first of all, you're right. Presence of mind by Morgan Barron to ensure that he's on side, to make sure that he doesn't take it too many men there. And so you could see that he hesitated, and he could have been, the one thing, and I think, my seatmate beside me said, I don't think I've seen him move that quickly. And it was good to see for him to get the wheels going and to really push towards the Oilers net. And he could feel the guys behind him, but that's a big goal for number 36. I mean, it's a huge goal for him to feel good and to get that piece of the win. And that's what we're talking about here with contributions across, not just from your top six, but across the board, all up and down the lineup, is the fact that every guy there feels like they're getting a piece of that win, which is of course significant. So that's what you want to see. And so, yeah, and again, it's another one of those situations where the crowd is losing their minds because, you thought you just blew up the lead and you thought Edmonton's going to keep pushing. And like I said, the funniest part to me, Drew, was that was like 7 goals in like, it was 5 goals in 7 minutes from the first one in the second period to Morgan Barron's. And you're just sitting there going like, what the hell am I watching? This is absolutely madness. So anyways, it was a huge goal for the Jets, a nice goal by Barron. And you could see the crowd goes bananas. The crowd is loving it. And that's what you want. That's what you want from, and we had someone, I highlighted the comment earlier, but it's what the atmosphere in the building felt like. And again, a lot of that, I think, was the WSAC. We got to give them credit because they had a lot of, but I'm saying between whistles, I don't know if they showed it during the commercial break, but they'd be playing the music and they'd be doing this. So it was like entertaining. Like there was stuff going on that was, I think, keeping folks excited. And again, people react to these kind of games. I mean, I think people enjoy them. It's a little chaotic. And like I said, everybody but the coaches are happy.
Everyone but the coaches are happy, and then the happiness even increased right before the amazing part is that Barron goal doesn't come with 3 minutes to go in the second period. It comes at the 10:45 mark. There's still half a period to play, and they scored this many goals. So it's not, they scored what, 1, 2, 3, 4, they scored
it was 5 goals in 7 minutes.
It's wild. I mean, that's how fun is that?
And before you get to the next goal, Drew, we should mention, because the one play that was worth mentioning that resulted in kind of the reason why, like I said, I gave Lowry, I thought he was good in the game, but I mean, I thought it was nice to see him step up, because there was no reason for Menelainen to have to fight Darnell Nurse. Like, it was a completely legal check on Connor McDavid. And it's funny because, like, again, you always are interested to hear what other, writers or media are thinking. And Derek had said, maybe it sounded worse than it was, but it wasn't. It was a completely legal hit by Menelainen, but of course, you see your guy get.
There's a little bit of a leg sweep there.
I couldn't see from the hit happened right below us where we sit in the press box. I didn't see him sweep the leg Karate Kid style.
There's a little bit of a leg sweep, but you know what? In this instance, the hit itself is legal. The leg sweep is, probably.
But there's no way Nurse didn't see that, though. Nurse just reacting because McDavid.
He responded to the fact that you hit Connor McDavid. Like, you're gonna have to fight as a result based on whatever weird code the NHL has developed. I don't mind the leg sweep. I mean, obviously, if I'm an Oilers fan, I don't like it, because you're touching the franchise. But I don't mind the leg sweep because it just shows, we're gonna make it a little bit harder on you than we did last night. You're gonna have to fight just a little bit harder. Yeah, maybe we'll play a little bit. I'm going to use the word dirty, even though that's not the right word in this instance. But whatever it might be, we're just going to make it a little bit harder on you to succeed. And that's what the Jets don't often show. They don't necessarily make it hard on their opponent. In this instance, they made it hard on McDavid with a good hit. And then as a result, just maybe a good hit plus a little bit more oomph on the hit, if that's how you want to say it.
To me, it looked like a good hit. That's the way I saw it. But again, I didn't really see the replay. I just saw the hit as it was live below us.
They talked about it on the intermission, so that's probably why they pointed it out on the. I think it was Kevin Bieksa who pointed it out on the broadcast during the second intermission.
Sure, and again, like I said, but in the speed of the game, it looked like it was totally fine, and to me, it looked like it was a fine. And I like Menelainen.
The hit was fine.
And I like. Look, that's what you have to do. Yeah. That's what you have to do. And
when you get an opportunity,
when you exactly take. That's what people were calling for that, right? Like, you got to hit these guys. You got to make them feel pain. And it's like, you can't just allow them that free access to the zone anytime they want. And don't get me wrong, McDavid and Draisaitl are phenomenal skaters, so it's not exactly an easy task. Right. And that's kind of what I thought Neil Pionk was getting back to when it was like Neil Pionk from the playoffs when the Jets swept the Oilers, and when he played McDavid so well and so tight. So look, I liked Menelainen hitting McDavid, and I liked and the best was, like, Nurse drops the glove. Menelainen's like, I ain't fighting you. Like, there's no reason for me to fight you.
Well, you know who lost their mind about it? I mean, it doesn't take him much to lose his mind. Is Mark Spector on Twitter. Mark Spector, who covers the Oilers for Sportsnet and is a pretty good mouthpiece for Ken Holland usually. You can go look at his tweet about it. He's like, Maenalainen, doesn't answer the call, but Adam Lowry does, and typical coward move by Maenalainen. And
typical. How many times has he watched him play? I mean,
I can promise you, Mark Spector was introduced to Saku Maenalainen last night for the first time.
Yeah. So, anyways, okay, whatever. But the point is that anyways, it was good for Lowry to step up for a teammate and say, look, this guy's not a fighter. He's not going to Nurse is a big boy. He can handle himself.
Yeah.
But Lowry tuned him. I mean, it was a good tilt, but Lowry took it. And again, what I'm saying though, Drew, what the key part of that was it allowed the crowd to really erupt, and the crowd was already excited. And then Maenalainen, hits McDavid, crowd likes that. And then Lowry tunes Nurse, crowd likes that. So to me, that was the key, was a big moment in that period because everybody's getting amped up from, again, that sort of experience.
No question about it. And not only, it's a great sequence that made it even better because, of course, Nurse gets the unsportsmanlike conduct. He gets the instigator penalty there, like he should, because that's a clear-cut instigator, rule. The clean hit, he decides they have to fight. Well, that's fine. You can, but you're going to take an extra 2 as a result for it, which he does. And, the Oilers are probably thinking, well, he's defending the franchise, so it's okay. We're going to kill it off. Except they don't. Josh Morrissey rounds out a period full of scoring with under 2 seconds to play.
1.2 to be precise.
1.2. Morrissey from the point, his 15th of the season, his 2nd of the game, assisted Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele. It's a power play goal for the Jets, and it makes it 6-4 just before the end of the second period, a second period that I don't think any of us are going to forget anytime soon. Absolutely just tons going on in that period. And of course, it culminates in that Morrissey goal, which turns out to be the game-winning goal for the Winnipeg Jets ultimately.
Yeah, and again, you can just tell that if you thought that the crowd was amped when Josh Morrissey scored with 1.2 seconds to go, and again, check the Illegal Curve Instagram. Colby, I know, is in the chat. Colby took a lot of great photos. I haven't even gotten to half of them, but I did post the picture of Mark Scheifele almost breaking Josh Morrissey's leg when he was so excited with the goal by 44. But I mean, and I tweeted this, and it's the truth. And again, we're not here to pump tires, but it really is a shame that Josh Morrissey is not getting more recognition. And I understand he's come down a little bit in terms of his analytics, but he still has 66 points. He's number 2 in scoring amongst defensemen, and it's absolutely insane to me that he gets no recognition for the Norris trophy. I mean, it's crazy. And I talked about this a while ago when ESPN did their
midseason poll or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it was. It was like a month ago.
The All-Star game, maybe.
Yeah. And it was basically Morrissey had literally an honorable mention. He had he was 15th on the list or something like that. It's absolutely insane. It's ludicrous to put it mildly, based on what he's been able to do. And again, that was that effort. And you can see it in the reaction. It was kind of how Derek was talking about Connor McDavid's reactions when he scores goals.
Yeah.
It's something we're not used to seeing from Josh Morrissey. He's a fairly muted guy, a fairly humble guy, and a fairly classy guy. And I don't take anything away. I like when guys celebrate their goals, because as long as you're not celebrating in front of the, showboating in front of the other team's bench. But I like seeing emotion from guys when they score goals.
Sure.
So I don't have a problem with it. But again, it's an element of Josh Morrissey that we're not really used to seeing, because he was never that expressive as far as I can remember. And now that he's got basically the team on his back, you're seeing it more and more. And so the reaction after he scores that goal is significant.
Here's what he had to say about that, with Mark Scheifele reacting and Morrissey reacting. Quote, "That's just emotion. We were ready to play tonight, and it was a big goal for us. I was a little caught off guard. He's a bigger guy," he being Mark Scheifele. He's a bigger guy than I thought. So that's Josh Morrissey talking about the post-goal celebration and the Morrissey tackle. Good form tackle by good form tackle by Mark Scheifele there. That quote courtesy of Murat Atesh in his Twitter feed. So there you go. That's what Morrissey had to say about that one. So it's 6-4 for the Jets at this point in time. We're finally through 40 minutes. We're through an hour of the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Second hour means we'll get to the third period.
Yeah,
overtime.
We should take a break now and then come back after that. But no, we'll keep going. This is the, of course, Betway game recap brought to you by our friends at Betway. It's safe and fun to bet with Betway. So head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. I said the Jets needed to shut down the Oilers in this period. It was essential that the Jets, especially after Tuesday, where they couldn't hold a 2-goal lead on a number of different occasions, they couldn't hold a 2-goal lead. Can they hold a 2-goal lead against the Oilers powerhouse juggernaut? And it doesn't look good to start. Nick Bjugstad, who of course just acquired from the Arizona Coyotes, or the Arizona money laundering operation, gets his 14th goal of the season, assist to Shore and Evan Bouchard. I believe that makes it a 3-assist night for Evan Bouchard. That comes early in the third period. The 2:55 mark of the third period cuts the Jets' lead in half from 6-4 to 6-5, and there's still 17 minutes to play. As Ezzy, Dave. Sorry, your name's Dave, not Ezzy.
It
I
is
apologize.
not.
I'll pay penance for that later on.
It's all good. It's all good. You can call me Ezzy anytime.
Yeah.
But look, the fact is that it was funny because it's one of those situations where obviously nobody wants to give up a goal, and you want to be able to lock it down. And I agreed with your tweet that you sent out before the third period saying this is going to be whatever I don't want to paraphrase it if you remember what you said specifically, but
it's a big test. It's an important test.
Yeah. And basically that the team is going to need to show what they're made of here in the third period, because they need these 2 points. They're absolutely critical for the Jets to get to build some momentum, to remove the stink. And like we said, it's so funny, right? The Jets win today. If the Jets win Monday, and let's say the Jets beat the Wild, I mean, it's amazing to think what that will do for the mindset of folks who were absolutely apoplectic and wanting to blow this team up. And I'm not saying, trust me, I'm not suggesting it's going to remove the warts from the Jets game and suddenly change everything. I'm just saying winning has a tendency to make you forget about some of these losses. But anyways, the point I drew to me was that it was almost like, okay, you got punched in the mouth. And I've said this before, but I think it's important. Like I talk about it with the Moose all the time, because the Moose are a team that oftentimes, because they're and I'm not saying the Jets are a young team, the Moose are in fact like one of the youngest teams in the AHL.
Right.
But oftentimes when they give up a goal, what is going to happen next? How are you going to react? How are you going to be able to hold the fort? And it didn't look good. You're right, because Edmonton poured it on. But you like the fact that the Jets, I don't know how many high danger chances did Edmonton have in the third period? I know it was like,
check that for you.
What?
Allow me to check that for you right here.
Yeah, I know
the Oilers had 8 in the third period.
Yeah. So, they had a lot. And look, Connor Hellebuck, you can say he's playing his second game in 2 nights. He's played a lot of hockey, but he was very good in that third period when you needed Connor Hellebuck to be He made the saves. And look, they were being outshot at one point. I think it was like 13-5. Yep. Edmonton was pouring it on in an attempt to, tie that game. And the Jets didn't allow them to. Yep. And it was again, I thought it was a team effort. Like I thought that the Jets played like a connected group. And I think you saw that. I think that they were vocal. I think that you could see the way they kind of communicated on the ice. At least that was the way it looked like to me. And I thought that it was a huge, as big as it was to come back in the game and to score goals in the game, was to hold Edmonton off the score sheet and to maintain that, lead until you could get the empty netter.
Yeah, and they do get the empty netter. They're able to hold off the Oilers, as you said, Dave. They're able to keep everything to the outside and rely on Connor Hellebuck, and they get the empty netter. Dylan DeMello at the 19:25 mark, so with 35 seconds to go. Jack Campbell on the bench, although Campbell's been on the bench for a lot of the game, given how he had played. Namestnikov getting the assist, his first point as a member of the Winnipeg Jets, and it gives the Jets, such an important victory to, at least for one night. Not saying that it's a panacea for what all ails. I'm not saying that there's not another slide coming, but for one night, they got a win and they feel good about themselves in a very entertaining, high-scoring 7-5 victory for the Winnipeg Jets over the Edmonton Oilers. It's taken us over an hour. That has been the Betway game recap.
We basically just did a Saturday show, even though we've already done a Saturday show today.
Yeah.
And because we've still got lots to go.
That's true. We still have lots to go. Pick a shot, Dave. Which goal is getting our Seagram shot of the game? Which one in your mind? Is it the Morrissey floater? Is it the Capobianco floater?
It's either the Josh Morrissey game-winning goal.
Okay.
Or you can give it to Leon Draisaitl because the game tying goal for them, which
we gave it to Draisaitl last night. I don't know why we gotta have that.
Give it to Josh Morrissey because that game winning goal was phenomenal. The reaction was phenomenal. So you got to give it to Josh Morrissey in that game winning goal.
There you go. Josh Morrissey gets the Seagram's shot of the game for his goal, the game-winning goal, with 1.2 seconds to go in the second.
Although Lowry punching Darnell Nurse in the face, that's also a pretty good shot.
That too. Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey, available at your local liquor retailer, wherever you may be joining us in from. Let's go to break because I need to take a big, deep breath. And when we come back, we are going to do some contests. We're going to do some quotes from the locker room. We're going to do some shenanigans, as we always do. It's a little bit after 10 o'clock. It's Saturday night. If you're with us to this point, you have nowhere else to be. So stay with us. It's the Illegal Curve postgame show. Drew Mindell, Dave Manouk. We're talking about the Jets. We're talking about whatever else is on our minds. We're live on YouTube and all of our social media platforms.
Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Jon Stewart, Dennis Miller, Brad Garrett, the biggest acts and all the up-and-comers. They've all made their mark at Rumors Comedy Club, North America's longest-running independent comedy club. Rumors has kept Winnipeg laughing for over 25 years. When was the last time you laughed out loud? Make it a great night out with friends or book your office or birthday party, even a fundraising event at Rumors. Get all the details and dates on upcoming shows at rumorscomedyclub.com.
He winds up. Oh, looks like Ezzy took that one right in the choppers.
A blistering fast puck hurts like HE double hockey sticks. That's why I let the pros at Linden Market Dental Center turn my yow into
wow.
Get your brilliant smile back with state-of-the-art restorative and cosmetic dentistry from real pros.
And remember, always wear a mouth guard.
Now that's solid on ice advice. Learn more at lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Dave, my man, why are you in the car already? It's hours until game time.
Drew, it's because I'm stressed out right now, driving around downtown Winnipeg, looking for a parking spot, and I'm not finding one. I've lost Ginsburg. I don't even know where that guy is right now.
Dave, haven't I taught you anything? Do what I do. Pre-book your entire month's worth of game day parking with the Grid Park app. It's super easy to use and saves me both time and stress.
Well, Drew, I'm not independently wealthy like you are. So I'm sorry that I don't have millions of dollars to pre-book my parking month in advance. What's that going to cost you? $25?
How about $5?
Come on, $5? No way.
$5. I'm not telling you a lie. And our listeners can get a free park with the new special promo code Illegal Curve. Guess what? There's more.
Come on, there's more, Drew. You're lying to me. What more could there be?
Grid Park now has underground parking, so my car can stay warm during the game.
So wait a second. All the driving around I do, looking for parking, minus 40. You're telling me I could be toasty warm in a car after the hockey game?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Underground parking. Just download the Grid Park app. That's GRYD Park and use the code Illegal Curve. All one word. You'll park for free your first time.
Hi, it's Drew from Illegal Curve here. Selling your home can be stressful, but it wasn't for me. Thanks to my friends at Zappia Group Realty, they made the process so easy. My home sold within 48 hours and with multiple offers. Zappia Group Realty took care of everything with their exquisite customer service and attention to detail. If you want to sell your home for more in less time, get started by talking to Frank and Mauro Zappia of Zappia Group Realty. Online at zappiagroup.com. For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the illegal curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com.
10:15 in the evening. Welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mindell, Dave Manouk with you on this Saturday night. Hope you're enjoying your evening wherever it finds you, whatever you are doing, if you're doing something in addition to, of course, watching these two handsome gentlemen on the screen, Dave M. and myself, courtesy of Murat Atesh. We need to keep sending Murat. That's why, I miss Murat on the road trips. Generally, he's sometimes on some of the road trips because he's really good at sending out the quotes from the players in a really timely fashion. And that's, of course, very important to me. And that's really all about me and you and, everyone that's watching this fine program. Adam Lowry, this is courtesy of Murat. Like I said, when he was asked by Murat how Winnipeg parked the feeling of deja vu, the deja vu, of course, being giving up an early power play goal like they did last night. Quote, "I don't know if you park it. It's like, oh boy, here we go again. That's one of those things." Scheifele gets a great tip, and Josh Morrissey's shot finds some eyes, and now all of a sudden we're able to flip the script. And they certainly were able to flip the script, and those 2 goals were certainly huge for the Winnipeg Jets in their, I guess it's technically a come-from-behind victory over the Edmonton Oilers, coming from behind, down 1-0, and coming from behind, what were they down? 3-2, if I'm not mistaken, and then holding on after they eventually took that 5-4 and then 6-4 lead. More on Lowry. Lowry on the Pond Hockey Barn Burner 7-5 Scorcher. Quote, "David Riddick looked at me at one point and he goes, 'This might be 10-8. And I go, "I certainly hope not." So a good deadpan humor from Mr. Adam Lowry. I saw Adam Lowry was backstage seeing Bert Kreischer, the comedian, along with Connor Hellebuck and some of the other teammates earlier this week on the concert hall. I saw that on Bert Kreischer's Instagram feed. So there you go. So
you mean Bert Kreischer, like the guy from is he the guy who always doesn't wear a t-shirt when he's doing his comedy?
That's exactly
right. He's hilarious. I've been watching a lot of his YouTube stuff. He's actually very funny. He does with Tom Segura, right?
Yeah, that's right. Tom and Bert. And
was he in Winnipeg? I didn't realize he was in Winnipeg.
You missed him. He was here on Wednesday.
No. I mean, it's fine, but I'm just saying I didn't realize he's very funny. I like him actually.
Yes, and so I was talking to one of the gentlemen from Rumors, and they were backstage, and they said he was a very nice guy, and he was a classy gentleman, and everything else. And apparently, what I heard is that one of the comedians who opened for Bert, Dave Williamson, addressed the crowd at the concert hall and said something along the lines of, "You guys in Winnipeg should be so thankful because you have the best comedy club in North America." Speaking about Rumors, and the entire crowd cheered in response. So nice. There you go. So that's a nice little behind the scenes thing going on there. More from Murat Atesh, courtesy on the Jets quotes. Josh Morrissey on the Jets' resilience tonight. Quote, "The early power play and goal against can kind of bring back some bad memories. I guess in the short term, but we got back on it and we just kept playing. I think that shows that we were ready to play tonight. And even some adversity early wasn't going to affect our ability to keep playing and play the rest of the 58 minutes or whatever it was." Of course, the question being, why weren't they ready to play last night? But tonight, they were ready, and as a result, it contributed to a 7-5 victory over the Edmonton Oilers, Dave M.
Well, and remember, one of the things, it's funny, it feels like it was a lifetime ago, it wasn't that long ago, we were talking about how the Jets couldn't score a 5-on-5 goal if their life depended on it. Well, they seem to have found out how they could do that in these games against the Kings and Oilers. I mean, obviously not necessarily last night. You're not gonna celebrate that too much, but the fact is that you needed to be able to get it done, and again, collectively as a group, and that's exactly what they did, getting contributions up and down the board. So you still need more. You still need more from Kyle Connor. He seems to have been snake bit a little bit. Nikolai Ehlers, he too is a little bit, still trying to find his game a little bit throughout the course, since he's returned from his injury. Yeah. And I mean, you do still wonder how much the sports hernia, is hampering him just a little bit.
There's no question in my mind that he's not playing at full strength. I mean,
No.
there's no question in my mind that he's not playing at full strength, and he won't play at full strength this entire season. It takes an entire off season to heal something like that. He's gritting it out and he's gutting it out.
Yeah.
But it's not. He's not. Operating like we're used to seeing him operate. It's a struggle. There was one play where it was just the puck was on his stick. There would look like he was going to.
You know where he lost it, and then they had
where he lost it, and then he got bailed out. Yeah, he got bailed out. Hellbuck made a nice save.
Yeah,
but you can just see that he's not at full strength, or anywhere probably near full strength at this point.
No, and so I mean, again, like I said, I think that I suspect that's actually, now that I think about it a little bit, most likely the reason why his minutes are a little bit limited. I think as opposed to what. But again, like I said, you still want, if he's playing. Like, that's the one thing at the end of the day, if you guys, that's like last year, remember we had to hear about all these guys being injured and playing through injuries. And it's like, well, why are you playing them? Like, if they're playing and they're okay, but they're still injured. And then if it's not an excuse, then don't use it as an excuse now. Because if you had the option to let guys heal and sit some guys and you didn't, and that's your prerogative, but you can't then claim, oh, well, he was dealing with X, Y, and Z. So anywho, the point is that you still have guys who need to contribute. Blake Wheeler still needs to find more. You need to see more from him. But overall, like I said,
he struggled tonight too. I mean, he's struggling. I don't know. Problem is the Jets are really limited with their options.
No, there's nothing to do. I mean, realistically, I mean, we don't know what the status of Jets. Of course, are going to be off tomorrow, so there won't be anything. We won't find anything about Pierre-Luc Dubois until Monday, when they have a morning skate as they get ready for the Sharks. But yeah, I mean, look, you're not operating with there's not a lot of depth there, right?
Not a lot of options.
So you're the Jets will be hopeful. Look, I mean, but the truth is, and again, like Wheeler's numbers, I think the underlying numbers for Wheeler and Stanley's numbers weren't good, but Wheeler's numbers actually, and who's the winger on that line that I'm thinking of? Connor.
Yeah.
Right? It was Niederreiter, Scheifele, and
Ehlers.
Sorry, it was Wheeler. It was
Ehlers,
Wheeler, and Stenlund. Stenlund's numbers, I don't think his underlying numbers were that good. But the point is that I just think that you don't, when you have Dubois,
just under 50% possession.
Okay, so they weren't bad. But anyways, the point is, look, I do wonder if Rick Bowness goes back to Dubois, Connor, and Ehlers.
I do think he will.
I do think so too, and I think he should, because that trio really worked well. And I actually think Niederreiter with Wheeler and Scheifele would be a nice combo. So I actually think I think that would give you what you need. And again, if you've got Nemestikov with Lowry and Barron, small sample size, one game, we could be talking about it completely different on Monday, but that, rounds it out. And then you've got, Axel Jonsson, Fjällby with David Gustafsson and Saku Manalainen, the Nordic line. At least then it seems that you've got lines that would work. I'm not saying that they're going to be perfect, but I think those would be lines that would work and they would be able to contribute. And, like I said, San Jose, maybe look, sometimes you need a team that you can beat up on a little bit. And look, the Sharks, who did the Sharks play today? They were
Caps. They got shit kicked by the Capitals. 7-3. Hang on, let me find it. 8-3. David Quinn, the Sharks coach, got kicked out of the game as well. And then and he unleashed a tirade. It was Morrissey-esque with not Morrissey-esque, Maurice-esque with the FU and FU2 sort of thing. You don't want to read his lips because the curse words were a flying in that instance.
And just quickly, C-Mac is asking, is Perfetti coming back this year? He could probably come back for the playoffs, but I don't see. And look, you never know with injuries. The teams are never the most forthright. Like just speaking of David Gustafsson. So Dave Gustafsson was injured. Well, he was injured in the game January 10th, and he was held out of. We didn't know what his status. Then they put him on IR, and on January 26th, Rick Bowness said, "Yeah, he probably just needs 3 or 4 more days. He had an MRI. Blah blah blah." Well, it took him 7 weeks before he was ready to get back on the ice and play. And even, to be honest with you, it's almost like out of necessity, they threw him into the game last night because of what happened with Pierre-Luc Dubois and his nagging injury from practice. So, you never know with respect to Cole Perfetti, but Rick Bowness did say it's a minimum of 8 weeks, and that would have taken them right till around April when the playoffs.
I think it was basically around the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the point is, don't count on Perfetti. Don't pencil him into your lineup or anything.
By the way, you know who did look good though? I thought Dylan Sandberg looked good in his return to the lineup.
Well, we're still not sure why he was ever out of the lineup to begin with.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I think that experiment, I think that rotation should be the experiment of that rotation should be over.
Yeah, of course it should. It should have been over a long time ago. But you know, for reasons that I'm still confused about, it wasn't over, and that's why you saw Logan Stanley in the lineup last night. You know, Kenny's Waters Bottle is asking me if you can swear in the chat. As far as I'm concerned, you can swear in the chat. Bailey, I hope you're okay with that. But you know, if I can swear on air here, then you guys can swear in the chat. As far as I am concerned, contests. It's almost at the hour 30 mark, so we might as well get to some contests for tonight. Of course, the Illegal Curve merchandise contest. These happen after each and every Winnipeg Jets game. The way to enter the contest, if you're new here, if you're just downloading the podcast, or maybe you have forgotten, whatever the case might be, you go to the drop-down arrow on the YouTube show, you on the YouTube link, on the YouTube channel, you click the contest link, you'll see a whole bunch of things that you can do, including entering the unique code for the Illegal Curve contest. Once you enter that, you get the bonus entries to win merchandise that we draw after each and every Winnipeg Jets game before the next post-game show starts. If you can't find the link on our contest page, it's on our website, illegalcurve.com. Pretty straightforward. If you need a tutorial, let me know. I'd be glad to walk it through with you on a separate offline sort of meeting. The unique code for the Illegal Curve contest for tonight, very apropos given what we just saw, Fire Wagon Hockey. That is Fire Wagon Hockey, all one word, all capitalized. Enter that into the unique code portion of the contest page and watch your entries rack up for a chance to win for a chance to win Winnipeg Jets merchandise from us here at Illegal Curve. You can be like our latest contest winner, Dave M. I'm going to put his name on the screen. You announce his name. How about that? Is that a good deal?
Sure. Kenneth Gardner.
Kenneth Gardner.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kenneth is I believe Kenneth is in North Dakota.
He's all over our Twitter feed. I know that much. For sure.
Kenneth is a loyal subscriber and viewer and tweeter and follower, and Kenneth enters a lot of these contests. But I know that Kenneth, if I recall correctly, and it's funny because we were talking about the IC game-winning goal and IC OT pool contest, but I want to say that Kenneth, I believe, has the full collection of Illegal Curve toques, the original Illegal Curve toques, because I remember I had to send a lot of them out to him in North Dakota. I want to say North Dakota. It could be South Dakota, but I'm fairly certain it's North Dakota. Illegal Curve is all over the map. We appreciate folks who follow us from all over the world. John Chan in Singapore. And of course, whether you're Phyllis in Morden or, right here in Winnipeg, we appreciate everyone.
I saw Stacy from Erie, Pennsylvania was here earlier as well.
There you go. So we appreciate the international crowd, and we appreciate the local crowd as well. So congratulations to Kenneth. Thank you for the support. Thank you everyone for supporting us. And remember, smash that like button, and also leave a comment on the podcast. I haven't checked in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check right now, see if there's been any new ones entered. My fancy Illegal Curve phone, but let's see if there's been any new ones. Anyways, remember, drop a comment on the podcast. Let people know what you like about Illegal Curve. And remember, key is this. If you go, and I see a lot more people doing it, so I'm going to keep letting you know when you see our content on Facebook, like it and share it. Like and share, that helps spread the word about Illegal Curve. And we've really started to boost up that, that area of our social media, which is funny because I never really used it, but it's good for the website, illegalcurve.com. So if you can, we appreciate you sharing our content and just helping inform other Jets fans about your source for Jets, Moose, and Ice news.
Yeah, it's hard to believe there are people who don't know about us, but those people are sadly missing out on some very interesting parts of their life that they didn't know that they needed. So be sure to inform them that, again, the best place to be after each and every Winnipeg Jets game. Are there new comments?
I think actually Phyllis left us a comment because it says Phyllis's review. So I'm gonna read it out to inspire everyone to leave a comment like Phyllis. These guys suck. Kidding. That's not what Phyllis said. Love IC show for the decidedly humorous takes of Drew, Dave, and Ezzy. They are entertainment at its finest, and coupled with my love of all things Winnipeg Jets, it's a winning combination in my opinion. Thanks, IC, for brightening my life. Thank you, Phyllis, for leaving a comment and for listening to us and supporting us. And we will hope that all of you will follow Phyllis's lead. She's always instructing you to drop a like on this show or the Saturday show. Follow Phyllis's lead and leave a comment on the podcast.
I think our photographer is chirping us. I'm not 100% sure what's happening here, but
I probably is.
Yeah, I think our photographer is chirping us.
When you take pictures as good as Colby does, you can do whatever you want.
There you go. Exactly right. Colby can chirp us. He's the one who's doing the great photography that you can see on our Instagram. You can just follow us, Illegal Curve,
and on illegalcurve.com.
And of course, the pictures are also on illegalcurve.com. Dave M., it's been a very, very long day. It's been a very, very fun day. This was a great day in Winnipeg. I sort of referenced it at the top of the broadcast. It was a fun show this morning, a little bit of angst ridden this morning and last night for good reason. The Jets, of course, winning tonight makes everyone put a big smile on their faces. My University of Kentucky Wildcats won a very important game this afternoon as well.
And I saw you blathering about that.
Thank you. I was blathering a bit. I know that I'm really, screaming into the ether when I talk about with majority of my followers when it comes to my University of Kentucky tweets. But humor me. It's my own. Okay, well, hang on. If Linda's saying that your grandsons watch this podcast,
that's why we got to be respectful. We're not going.
I'm going to stop swearing.
Linda, we will not do gratuitous swearing unnecessarily. So that's our promise to you. We'll try and keep this on the up and up. There's no need to.
We are gratuitous enough without having to add swearing into everything. So
we'll keep the profanity to a minimum.
Yeah, that's fair, Linda. We can do it. We can do our part. If you're going to have your grandsons watching this podcast, that sounds like a fair trade from our perspective. Fun day. Winnipeg Jets win 7-5 tonight on home ice to arrest the losing streak. They'll try and keep it going on Monday as well. Monday start time, by the way, it's a 6:30 start time to the game on Monday night, which means post game is around 9:15. So something you can schedule yourself accordingly for. I think both Monday and Wednesday are early starts at 6:30 because those are both Sportsnet broadcasts. So a little bit earlier.
Why would that be 6:30?
I think there might even be a game. Maybe they're showing a late game on the West Coast afterwards. I'm not entirely sure, but that's going to be my best guess is that there's it's part of sort of one of their doubleheader Monday, Wednesday sort of things. But
well, Drew, by the way, before we go, got to mention the Winnipeg Ice finished off their 10-game road trip with a beating of the Brandon Wheat Kings, their provincial rivals. So they finish off their road trip 8-2. They had lost the last two. They were actually up in Regina last night, 3-0. And then Connor Bedard, speaking of generational players, Connor Bedard decided to have a hat trick and they ended up losing that game 5-3. So they went into Brandon tonight and finished it off with a win, and they'll come home. And I think they're playing Medicine Hat on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then the Moose, of course, we know Phyllis is going. I can't remember the other person who I gave tickets to, but they're going to be there. Phyllis will make a new friend who is from the show. They can discuss the show and leaving comments. Maybe Phyllis can convince that person to leave a comment on the podcast, but they'll be at the Moose game, as will I. And if you like the Wasack warm-up jerseys that the Jets wore, be prepared for the Moose ones, because the Moose ones are insanely awesome. And I'm sure that all the good things that the Jets did today, I'm sure the Moose will do tomorrow in a different fashion, but equally cool. And the jerseys are incredible, and they wear them in the game. And so it'll be a real interesting hockey contest. And the Moose are looking to end this homestand. 8 games they've played at home, and then they head out on the road for 2 weeks. I can't remember how many. It's either 6 or 8 games. Probably 8 games. They'll head out to Abbotsford, and then they play Tuesday, Wednesday in Abbotsford. But let's focus tomorrow. 2 o'clock start in downtown Winnipeg to wrap up all of our great. Oh wait, actually it doesn't wrap up because then we have a game on Monday.
Yeah, getting close. Tuesday, you can take Tuesday off. I don't think there's a Moose game on Tuesday. And the Jets.
No, there is a Moose game on Tuesday.
They play Tuesday in Abbotsford.
Yeah, they
play.
It's Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, well, in that case, that's the bed you made for yourself, Mr. Minute. You get to live in it.
It is true.
Big thank you to all for the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty, Betway, Tough Duck, Boston Pizza, Seagram's, Rollies Transfer, Grid Park, and The Keg support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. I think we've come to a compromise. You can only swear in the chat if you're going to swear using ye old English. So all your swears must be time appropriate for about the 18th century. Anything beyond the 18th century, you're not allowed to use it if you're going to use it in the chat. So I think I saw somebody say consarnate. That is permitted. Anything worse than consarnate is not allowed at all. It's been a fun day. For Dave Minuk, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. We'll see you on Monday night. Of course, illegalcurve.com is where it's always updated with all your latest Jets, Moose, and Ice news.
Drew, hold on.
Oh, dear.
Sorry. I had one last thought. I have to get it out because I don't want to forget. Big shout out to the Garden City Fighting Gophers, who are the high school hockey champions, my alma mater. Way to go. The Garden City Fighting Gophers. They beat, I believe, West St. Paul 2-1, and it was an overtime win for the Garden City Gophers. So Fighting Gophers. They were the Gophers when I was there. They added the fighting part, but I didn't think Gophers fought. I thought Gophers were more lovers than fighters. But congratulations to the Garden City Fighting Gophers, the first ever high school hockey championship in school history. So congratulations to all the kids in Garden City for pulling off that big win.
Well, there you go. Congratulations to you as a
alumnus. Yes, an
so
alumnus.
Very important. I'm surprised you didn't win it back in your day.
I don't think we had a hockey team back in our day. We didn't have a hockey team as far as I can remember. But regardless, congratulations to those kids. I saw some of the tweets that nice article about them on Global. So we gotta remember we cover hockey in Manitoba.
Yes.
It's not always pro hockey or junior hockey. Sometimes we gotta go to high school and focus on those kids and what they're doing. And when they're kids who went to Garden City, I'm always in their corner. So well done, kids.
There you go. I went to Gray Academy. I don't think that's going to be an issue for me anytime soon. But in any event, thanks to everyone for joining us here on the Illegal Curve post-game show and earlier today on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. Smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast. Leave us feedback here, there, and everywhere, and tell your friends the best place to be. After each and every Winnipeg Jets game, and again on Saturday mornings, is the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. For Dave Minuk, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Until Monday at 9:15 p.m. We wish you good night and good luck. Have a great weekend. Be safe, everyone. We'll see you again on Monday night.